All right, so let's begin the old podcast. Right?
I'll try to stick in there, man. I'm a little tired. But you know what I did do today that gave me a little boost?
What's up?
I went to the set of The Walking Dead.
Wow, really?
Yeah, they're filming in Wimberley.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and they were, so I drove out there. It's about an hour drive, and I pulled in, and I see some of the lights set up on cherry pickers. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and take a picture. And I see there's a car and a guy sitting there. I thought he was just kind of chilling. Well, he all of a sudden gets out of his car and slips out the back and kind of disappears. And I was like, where'd he go? And then he comes up and he's like right next to my truck. And I open the door. I was like, hey, man, how's it going? He's like, pretty good. What's up? I was like, not much. Can I take a couple of pictures? He's like, sorry, man. I'm the security guy out here. I can't let you take pictures. And I was like, all right. He goes, but if you were across the street, there's no way I could stop you. And I was like, I got your message, man.
Oh, bingo.
So I drove across the street, just got out, and took a couple pictures. It's a
Ka-ching.
yeah, no, that's a cash register.
That's the sound of you taking photos.
I thought a sound would be like what the
That's you taking photos across the street.
wow.
Like
I didn't know it sounded like a
crazy
plunger.
person.
Like a paparazzi.
Like, yeah, you're like the Wimberley paparazzi right
I was like
now.
TMZ out there.
So you got photos. Did you have like a zoom in lens? Because you're across the street taking photos of these.
I didn't even have a camera. I had my phone. I just got off of work, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that's kind of cool.
It was cool. They turned this abandoned gas station into a like truck stop, and there's like an 18-wheeler parked across. And what's funny is I saw it over Thanksgiving, and I could not help but think to myself, I was just like, man, that looks like some post-apocalyptic hideout. And I even made the joke to my dad. I go, I keep thinking that, Mad Max is going to come barreling out of there, like, with like leather spikes and stuff on and throwing like spear grenades at me.
Yeah.
Trying to take parts from my car.
Yeah, you feel like you're back in Fallout or something.
Of course. But turns out it's just The Walking Dead.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It was cool beans.
Man, did you see any zombies?
No, they had already packed up and gone home. I think they were doing only night shoots.
Sounds funny when you talk about zombies like that.
Did you see any zombies?
Zombies went home.
Saw a nice 12-footer out there limping around.
Oh, man. Well, thanks, everyone, for listening in. This is another episode of Undiscussed Territory with me and Michael.
Howdy ho.
Hello, I'm Gabriel.
I'm
Anthony
Michael.
Walker.
Your middle
My
name's
address
Anthony?
and credit card information is... Just kidding. So what do we got on dock today, my friend? What are you telling me about this fine...
I'm going to be talking about David Paulides and the 6 books that he wrote.
David
Missing
Paulides.
411.
Hey.
Hey.
It's kind of like that Fahrenheit 411 or whatever.
No, it's Fahrenheit 9/11.
Well...
And that was terrible. That's
That's just your opinion.
No, it's an overweight liberal douche just screaming at people.
Hey, man, he's made some movies, some other ones.
Exactly, and they're all just as terrible as that one.
Oh, you.
Going up to people's houses.
You're so mad.
You killed this girl. I'm going to leave her picture here.
This is a podcast of positivity, of bringing in goodness to the world.
You're
We're
right.
not going
You're right.
to
I'm
trash
sorry.
this man. You never even met him. I bet if you met him, you'd go hog wild. You'd be so happy to see him.
You're
You'd want to
probably
take
right.
photos with him like you're at the Walking Dead, place.
Probably,
So,
that, or I could just still not like him.
okay. Well, I'm talking about another guy. Is that a guy you're talking about?
Yeah, it's a guy.
I'm talking about a guy.
David Paulides.
David, he sounds polite. I'm talking about this other guy named D.B. Cooper. So it looks like we're both being very masculine today, only talking about two men.
Hope it doesn't get too toxic.
Jeez. Oh, good. How do we decide who goes first?
You went first last time. Actually, the last 2 times you went first.
Oh.
I'll go ahead and go first.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
I'm just kidding. I ruined your groove.
You did.
You're such a loser. Look at your
now I'm going
face.
to be limping around.
Sorry.
Anyways, David Paulides
Yeah.
is a retired police officer who was approached by 2 park rangers. They had been working at the parks for one of the national parks for a couple of years, and they told him there were a couple people that had gone missing. And they said it was very bizarre the way they went missing and how it was being handled. So they asked him to investigate it. So it all starts with him first going to the national parks and asking them, hey, can I have a list of missing persons and, how they died? Can I have all the records? And he, used the Freedom of Information Act. Mm-hmm. Well, when you use that, they're not supposed to ask questions. Well, what do you need this for? But they did. And they were like, well, what is this going to be for? You'll get the information, but what do you need it for? He said, well, I'm just doing a little investigation. I'm just curious into what happened to these people. And they said, well, we don't keep that on file.
What?
They said, they told him they do not keep a list of missing persons. And that's their jurisdiction. They're supposed to have a list of missing persons, like everything that goes on in the park.
Yeah.
So he said, well, how can I get a list of all these missing persons? They said, well, you'll have to wait for us, and it's going to cost you $1.4 million for a comprehensive list of all the missing persons.
Why would it cost you $1.4 million to get a piece of paper with names on it?
So either they really don't have this list, or they don't want you looking into this. And I'm going to start telling you about this, and you're going to start...
I'm going to lose my mind, aren't I? This episode.
Maybe. I mean, there are some of the stories I was listening to, and it gives you goosebumps. You're just like, it makes me scared to go into the woods.
Ooh.
Yeah. I love the woods.
Yeah, you're a woodsman.
I'm quite the woodsman.
Yeah.
I grew up in the woods.
Yeah.
I was raised by stray cats. Yeah. Dude, that's really racist.
Oh, sorry.
Anyways.
Against cats?
I
love cats. How dare you?
How dare I? How dare you?
Okay. Well.
All right. So anyways, he starts doing more investigations. He starts actually talking to people, and he starts doing the investigations himself, talking to different people who he starts looking up newspaper articles. He has to start digging through all these old archives to find missing people. And these cases of people missing, he has a criteria for the cases. There's things that they have to meet certain criteria. Like for one, it can't be a crime. They can't have any mental health, like suicidal thoughts. They can't be somebody who just wants to disappear and go off the preservation. Yeah. And it can't be an animal attack. If it doesn't meet any of those criteria, then he'll take the case on. He'll look deeper into it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You factor out all the silly stuff.
Of course. Well, you factor out all the clear evidence. He says, I'm looking for cases where there's no evidence. We don't know.
Yeah. Sounds like my kind of guy.
It's quite the guy.
Yeah.
So one of the things that he said is a lot of these crimes, or I'm sorry, not crimes, but a lot of these disappearances, they happen in national parks around large bodies of water. And this is really weird. Boulder fields.
Oh, of course. The fields of Boulder.
Yes.
What the hell is that? Boulder fields?
Boulder
fields.
That
doesn't make sense, dude.
So, have you heard of a boulder field? Do you know what that is?
No.
It's just a field of boulders.
Okay, well,
it's
that
like
makes
say
sense
next to a
off the
mountain,
title.
so it's like where an avalanche or something can happen. It's just like all these huge rocks.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah. So the people that go missing, they're from all ends of the spectrum, meaning there are super intelligent people. There's people that, sometimes have mental disabilities.
Okay.
There's people who are super active, super fit, are always in the outdoors, but then it's also people who just maybe have a disability, like they can't walk, they can't walk for too long, they can't walk as fast. It's happening to children. Some of the cases are kids that are 2 and 3 years old that the parents will be talking, they're playing with the kids, having a good time. They'll look away for a moment. And then, within an hour, these kids are 12 miles away.
Those kids got some legs on them.
Those kids got some legs.
Popping, jumping between boulders.
And these kids, they're also found in ridiculous terrain, like areas where it's you can't get to. And the people that are found, the children will sometimes tell these weird stories that doesn't quite make sense. And then adults usually have gaps in their memory. They're just they don't remember. They're like, I don't remember being gone for a few months. Not only that,
that's always a good sign.
Yeah, that's a great sign. Not only that,
memory loss.
They'll lose their shoes. The person will be found without any shoes. Kids will be found without their shoes, but their feet will be clean. They'll have clean socks, not a speck of dirt on them, and they're up on top of a mountain. And it's like,
What?
How did you get here? One story. This is how far these cases go back. Back in 1868, there was a young girl who was with her father. They were out hunting. And, they're just kind of walking through the woods towards the end of the day. He's like, let's kind of skipping and playing. Well, he looks away for a moment, and she disappears. He calls her name and calls her, can't find her. So he ends up calling a couple of buddies to come out and help him look for her. So all three of these guys are walking around looking and looking. They're calling her name. By the next day, the two hunters that are looking for her, they're walking through and they start to hear like a young girl, like muffled, talking to someone. And they walk up to her and they just see out of the corner of their eye, they see this huge beast take off, jump into the water and swim to the other side of the river. And the girl's standing on the log, like looking out, like watching as it runs off. And they're like, where have you been? Where have you been? She's like, the wolf man was taking care of me.
Oh.
And they're like, do what? She goes,
What?
The dad found her and he's just like, hey, what happened to your hat? She's like, oh, the wolf man ate it. What happened to your blouse? Like, the wolf man ate it. He's like, are you okay? She goes, yeah, I'm fine. He's like, did you eat? And she's like, yeah, the wolf man would feed me berries from his hand.
Well, that sounds very nice.
It's quite...
Very nice Wolfman.
That's
they got
terrible.
There.
You know what?
That
No more bad puns for you.
Okay.
But he even asked her, he's like, hey, listen, we were calling your name. And she's like, he wouldn't let me call out to y'all. He told me to be quiet.
Yeah, I've heard that about Wolfmen typically don't like you to speak up, so it makes sense.
Of course. Well, no, they don't want to be found.
Oh, well, of course.
Yeah. I mean, they're misunderstood.
Kind of like you and me. It's kind of
That's that's what this podcast is about. Wolfman awareness.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So Wolfman talking to a girl in the 1800s.
Well, that's the thing. These kids, this girl said it was a wolf man. Others have said, the monkey man or the bear, There was another story that happened back in 1960s where a woman witnessed her child getting scooped up by what looked like a bear to her and then got carried off by it.
Bigfoot.
And then when they found the child, she was living in a crudely created hut.
Oh, really?
She was staying in that and they found her and she was just, they were like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I was able to eat. The bear kept me warm at night. And just like, wait, what?
Whoa.
And so this is happening all over, but there are some people that they're never found. Like they'll retrace their steps where they were at, and it'll show if there are tracks, they'll just disappear.
Right, yeah.
And a lot of these people, they'll even bring in hounds to try to sniff the trail. These hounds will be following a trail, and all of a sudden they'll just start walking in circles, and then they'll just sit down, and they won't continue to look. Or they refuse to go further up the trail.
That's that don't make no sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all. They've even found bodies, like they'll look for these people for weeks and then they'll appear where they had looked dozens of times or even back on the trail to get to where they last disappeared, almost as if someone placed them there to be found. And even though they've been missing for weeks, like when they find them, they had only died like a few days.
Wow.
Did
he eat the... Are they eaten?
No. So a lot of the cases as well, they can't figure out how this person died. And so they usually chalk it up to exposure.
Oh, they were exposed?
Overexposed.
To what? To violent games? Violent video games?
You tell me.
Oh, okay.
That's what David Paulides says. In an interview, David Paulides, they were like, what do you think it is? And he told the interviewer, I'm not going to tell you what I think because I owe it to these people to help them get answers to what happened to their families. And if I were to tell you what I think, I believe it would alienate me and it would push me, it would push them away.
He knows he needs, that's the smart move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if he did say, whatever he would say, it would immediately ostracize him because he'd probably say something like too crazy.
Well, a lot of
he just wants to present the facts and be like, you decide.
Of course. Like, you know, a lot of these stories, like, you know, you read some of these stories in the books and you're just like, okay, this sounds like a Bigfoot. This sounds like an alien abduction. Like, they don't make any sense at all. Sometimes the people are found like years later. Children are found sometimes with their clothes either removed, put on backwards, or on inside out.
That's just kids not knowing how to put their clothes on.
Well, here's the thing.
Though.
A lot of these stories, the parents are like, they don't know how to dress themselves. They're like 2 or 3 years old.
Exactly. That's why their shirts and stuff are on backwards when they find them.
Well, why would they take their clothes off?
If it's hot, they don't, like, if they're too
in the
exposed.
Forest.
Oh.
They're not in the Sahara Desert. They're not taking off their shirts to pee on it and make, like, cool caps.
Well, you can use your shirt for anything. For a little sack.
A sack for what? What are they gathering?
Berries? Hello?
Well, they got
You
pockets.
just said that earlier.
Yeah, but they got pockets and Wolfman hands.
Wolfman hands? Yeah, that's true. I guess you're right.
Yeah.
What am I thinking? I'm so crazy to say kids sometimes don't know how to put their shirts on. That's crazy. It's got to be a Wolfman. That explains everything.
I'm trying to tell you this, but you're just like looking at me and mocking me. It's a Wolfman. It's the Wolfman.
I'm not mocking. I'm just stating the facts that kids sometimes don't know how to put their shirts on correctly.
And that's the problem with this. You hear some of these stories and you can't help but think like that. You start to think logically, like, well, yeah, maybe these kids, but if you read, I mean, yeah, whenever it's put out the way I've written it down,
true,
it sounds nanners.
Yeah.
But it's when you read from the actual pages, when they're doing, he's thought about all this, you know, he's like, he actually, at the end of his book, he has his email address. He's like, if you can think of something that I missed, write in and tell me.
So that I can make more money on these books. Sorry, no, no, that's a good point, though. I like that he puts his email there.
Well, here's another thing that he says. I looked on Amazon for his books.
Oh, you did?
You know how much they're charging for his books? Some of them are $200.
What? That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all. But
it makes dollars.
It does. God,
get it?
Stop it.
I got him
so
again.
Many
got
bad
him.
jokes.
Got him.
Ridiculous.
I'm on fire.
No, he constantly. There was one of his podcasts. He tells you, he's like, don't order off of Amazon. These are secondhand retailers, and they're going to gouge you for everything. If you go to his website, which I have it written down.
Ooh.
Sadly, when you go to it, it's like this crypto Bigfoot. So it makes me think less about it.
It's interesting, though. It's an interesting story. And that's what this podcast is about. The stories, are they interesting or not?
They're really interesting. I was listening to them all morning long while I was working, and I was getting a little nervous. I didn't want to be alone in the dark.
Your palms sweaty.
My palms don't sweat.
Knees shaking.
Knees don't shake.
Hands spaghetti.
No, they're
spaghetti
made of
hands.
Flesh and bone.
Okay. Wow.
There's some veins.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You've got some strong hands.
I do. That's from holding concrete.
Oh, nice.
Yep. I delivered by hand.
Hand delivered to your door.
There you go.
That's legit, dude. I like that story.
But no, like it.
Oh, you got some more?
Yeah.
What's this guy's name again?
David Paulides.
Okay. David Paulides.
Yeah.
And the story of the missing people in the wilderness. If there's a place you would go missing, though, that makes the most sense.
Of course.
The wilderness.
All of these disappearances, like he actually has a map you can look at online, and it shows all the clusters of where these people are missing, and it's really weird. But then again, if you put any missing persons, like where they've gone missing, it's going to look strange. But it's just, they show all these clusters, and so he has 6 books. One's about, like, hunters, which you don't typically think is a hunter going missing. You know?
Yeah, it's got all the things he needs to stay alive, technically.
It's got a bow.
Yeah. Or a gun.
Mm-hmm. There's another story of a child at Yosemite. I'm going to tell you this story and then one more.
Okay.
So the child at Yosemite, he was walking with his parents along the river. They were walking just a little bit ahead of him because he was just kind of picking up little stones on the river and throwing them out in the water. Pew, and they... Pew, 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 pew. That is not the sound of a rock.
Have you hidden? Yeah, I've skipped rocks before. That's the sound.
No, that maybe on a frozen lake.
That sounds like this.
That's a whale. Now that's SpongeBob.
That's no, okay, whatever.
May the creator rest in peace.
Oh yeah, rip creator. I forgot his name already. Sorry.
It's all right. But anyway, so the kid's skipping stones. The parents look away for a few moments, and they hear him, and all of a sudden it kind of goes quiet. They literally look away for just maybe a minute. They turn back around. He's gone. No tracks, no footprints, nothing. They're freaking out. They're running up and down. They're looking in the river. They're looking in the woods. They can't find him. They call the park rangers. They get out there immediately. They have dogs. The dogs, when they show where he was last at, they give him one of his blankets or something to smell. They get the scent. They take off up the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
They run up the mountain probably about 3 or 4 miles. And they're going up. These people... Yeah. This kid's hauling.
Yeah, this kid's on fire, man.
Yeah. It's like a 5-year-old kid. He's
Usain bolting up that mountain.
They got to a certain point in the mountain, and the dogs just stopped. They started whimpering and crying, and they like laid down. And when they tried to pull them up the trail, they would just drag them along.
The dogs are scared, dude.
The dogs were scared. Well, then, just about that time, some hikers were coming down, and they said, hey, this was the next day. They said, hey, have you seen anybody up on the trail? They're like, well, yeah, we saw, there's like a 5-year-old child up at Devil's Nest. And they're like, wait, you mean he was in the area?
We
like,
didn't have him. We just we just walked by the missing child.
No,
that child. He's 5. He's alone. All right, let's head back home. Let's run out home now. See you, child.
That must be one of the mountain children we heard about.
There he is. Stay away. You might have rabies.
Get back, honey. It says don't feed the animals at the park. No, so they see the kid up on top, they kind of get freaked out. They're just like, oh, crap, there's a child up there. But then he turns around like somebody is calling his name and wanders off. And when they go up there, in order to get to the top of Devil's Nest, they said you need climbing equipment in order to get there. And no one person can get up there on their own. Yes. So this kid's freaking Spider Boy, just
basically, yeah,
shooting web, climbing up it. Yeah.
So the child, did they ever find him?
They lost the child.
What?
The child was never found again.
Maybe here's a more. What about this? What if he just got picked up by a giant golden eagle? You know, one of the biggest eagles. Remember that video online where the eagle came up and swept that kid up from the ground and picked him up?
The one that was fake.
Yeah. It could have been an eagle. It could have been a real eagle, though. The video seemed believable.
It could have been the eagles from Lord of the Rings, and they were just like, this kid's got the ring. We got to get him out of here.
Oh, yeah. They probably thought it was like a Mordor. Yeah, they're probably trying to get him to the...
They probably thought he was a hobbit. They didn't know he was a child.
Yeah. That makes the most sense.
Sadly, that means there's somewhere out in the mountains, there's a hobbit that died on the mountains waiting for those eagles to show up because they grabbed the wrong kid.
Because the ring, he's still alive, and he's just way older and looks like a tiny little shriveled up...
Like a cancer patient?
Yeah, it looks like Gollum. Gollum!
God, you're so attractive when you do that.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
I love it.
Well, that's cool. I like the little kid.
Now for
really
this story,
feel-good story.
You think, okay, so here's another like really funny story that I know you're gonna love.
Okay.
It's got a little weirdness to it. So that's what starts. Kid goes off camping with his parents, and once again, parents look away for a moment. Kid disappears.
Right on.
They find him the next day huddled in a bush. You know, they're like, "Oh, Gregory, come here," and then you know. He's kind of shocked, doesn't really talk too much. They get him home. And finally, after a couple weeks, he starts talking. He was just like, yeah, I'm sorry I walked off. It's just Nana wanted to show me something. They're like, what do you mean Nana wanted to show you something? He's like, well, Nana was there at the park. She grabbed my hand and said she needed to show me something. And she led me into a cave where there were spiders and... They had weird guns, but it was all covered in dust. And it's like, wait, what? The kid said, it wasn't until we'd gotten in there that I realized that wasn't Grandma. She was a robot. And there were other robots there, but they didn't move. And they're like, well, what did she do? He said, well, she was all right. She just had me climb up this ladder into this bright room where she took a look at my stomach. And then she took out a sticky piece of paper and asked me to poop on it.
What? What are you talking about right now? This cannot be real.
This is real. This is what this kid's talking about. And his Nana was getting mad at him because he would not poop on this piece of sticky paper.
And
what's...
what?
Okay, so So here's the crazy part. So David Paulides like hears this from the kid, and he's like, "All right, this is insane. What is this story?"
Truly.
He goes back and talks to the grandmother, and he's like, "All right," and she's like, "Well, I was actually there at the same camping area because that's where our family likes to go to that spot. I was there 2 weeks prior, and we had to leave early because as we were sleeping in the night, I woke up and had a huge like prick on the back of my neck, and it was covered in blood."
Vampires.
I don't know what it was. No. Aliens.
Aliens?
Aliens.
Oh, okay. Duh, obviously.
They took her blood to create a hologram 3D lifelike projection.
Is this really
To
the
get
story?
him. Yes, this is one of the stories.
This is the dumbest story I've ever heard.
This is all in one of his books.
Oh,
and she
man.
wanted her grandson. Dude, she told her grandson, he said, "I can't poop right now." And she said, "Well, I need to check this because I need to check this because you're from outer space, and we put you in your mother's belly, and we just want to see how you're doing."
Oh, that is
So they had
bad.
to check his poo on the sticky sheet of paper
Of course. That's what aliens use. Little sticky sheet of paper.
that they set on the ground for you to defecate on.
Ugh. Aliens are they're in a cave. They don't have like a little facility with like white walls.
Obviously,
and, like,
they had a
clean.
facility because his grandmother climbed up a ladder, and he said she was glowing in her head. That's where she checked her tummy and then asked him to poop on the sticky sheet of paper. I promise. I wish I could. I wish I had the imagination to make this story up.
This is one of the most ridiculous stories I've ever heard.
I'm telling you, like the stories range from "this is ridiculous" to "that's kind of scary."
Please email me later today if you have any other ridiculous stories that I could write in my next book.
Well, he doesn't ask for stories. He asks, like, if you read the story and you catch something that maybe he missed in the case. He's not trying to make more stories.
Wow.
He did release a movie
Wow.
on Amazon.
Oh, really?
Missing 411, the movie.
Oh, shot on a camcorder.
I actually rented it.
Did you really?
I did.
Have you seen it yet?
What did I just say?
You said you rented it. That doesn't
exactly,
mean...
off of Hulu. If
Off
you
of
rent it-
Amazon. You did not say Hulu. You said
Oh,
Amazon.
Amazon. Well, yeah, Amazon. They're both the same. They're green.
Amazon's not green?
Yeah, they do. It has some green in there, right?
No.
On the app, I'm sure there's a green letter.
No, Amazon is like black and orangish and white and tan because of the cardboard.
Because of cardboard?
Yeah. And then they have the little light blue, the cyan, if you're a Prime member, which I am. Which makes me better than you.
I'm not. My dad is.
I'm a
and
better person than you.
I stole his email address.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You use your dad's email address to give this guy stories.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
So that way he contacts my dad. My dad's like, "Oh, this crazy guy asked me to poop on a sheet of paper."
Classic, man. Classic David Paulides. He just gets emails like he just emails people asking for poop. Like, what?
On a sticky sheet of paper.
Please email me.
It can't just be on a regular sheet of paper. It's got to be sticky.
Yeah, I don't get that part. Why does the paper need to be sticky? There's no need for it to be sticky.
Why do aliens want to check our anal cavity with every abduction?
They always want to check that one part of our body. There's so much else about humans that are interesting, but
I
nope.
know, but
They just
nope.
want to see our waste receptacles.
What in the butt?
That's what that came from.
Yeah.
Was aliens.
I believe it.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Thanks
All right,
for that.
so there's my ridiculous.
That was
David Paulides and
flowing.
Missing 411.
Yeah, that's nice. Don't call
Smokey-
911 though.
Smoke you a good bleezy and give it a read.
Smoke you a good blazy.
You're gonna love pooping on sticky paper.
I've never heard it called blazies before. That's cool.
Well, now you know.
Is that a real term or did you just make that up?
Blazies?
A blazy?
Blaze it up.
Oh, well, you said blee.
Did I?
Yeah.
We'll check it in post.
Yeah, we'll have to check this later.
We'll edit it if I mispronounced it.
Okay. Well, then maybe we should move on to my guy here.
Please
Mr.
do.
D.
I love
The big D.
dropping a D on B. Cooper.
All right, so So you might, you told me earlier you were a little familiar with this guy already.
I'm quite familiar with this
Oh,
guy.
you think you're so cool.
Well, we dated.
No, you didn't. Okay, just shut up.
He asked me to poop on a sticky sheet of paper.
No. So for the audience, you might be asking yourselves, who is this fella? Well, I'll tell you. After this quick message from our sponsor. I'm just kidding. We don't have a message today. Sorry.
I told you I got that one sponsor.
Who is it? Rogan's Rogaine?
Rogan's Rogaine, and then we also have the anti-feces wall.
Oh, jeez. I'm not going to... We've talked about poop enough. I'm moving on with this. Good Lord. All right, so D.B. Cooper, this man on Thanksgiving Eve in 1971. I'm going to do it in a movie voice.
I love it.
A man under the name of Dan Cooper hijacked a Boeing 727 airplane with $200,000 ransom, which is equivalent to over $1.2 million today. He parachuted out mid-flight somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. Between, no one really knows, somewhere between Portland all the way to Mexico City. They jumped out there. I'm not exactly sure.
Somewhere.
Exactly. And this mysterious man sparked an extensive manhunt and an FBI investigation to track him down. So why is it interesting? Well, he was never located, never identified. So they never even identified him, and they never even found him. This man, for me, he gets the gold medal.
Well, this
the Gabe Walker gold medal.
This is before CSI, so you didn't have a guy taking aviators on and off and saying clever puns.
This is true. Yeah. 1971 also wasn't really a good year for high tech crime fighting. Not everyone had Google on them at all times. Siri.
Nope.
And tracking stuff.
Google Hangouts to chat about.
Exactly.
Hideouts.
So I give this man the Gabe Walker gold medal for being the only unsolved case in air piracy and all of commercial aviation history.
He gets my gold medal, just air.
The Michael Tyner gold medal.
An air pirate.
As an air pirate, yeah. You have used your Xbox, your Xbox gamer tag is pirate something. So we won't say that.
King of the pirate.
You just doxed yourself, dude. You just did a self-dox.
I'm king of one pirate.
Okay. The Pirate King, singular. Just this one guy. Okay, moving on. So, the other question people begin to ask themselves is, did he live? Did he survive this crazy heist? The evidence we have right now, and a lot of expert opinions suggest that he probably didn't survive. It's a pretty high-risk jump, and his remains were never discovered, so...
Missing 411.
So it's kind of, missing 411. Maybe he should write about this guy.
There you go.
So the FBI officially suspended active investigation of this case in 2016, which is pretty recent. That's kind of crazy that they've actually had an active case on him for who knows how long.
Yeah.
I can't do math.
Math is hard.
Yeah, that's for like 40-ish years. So that's pretty wild. And he continues to, the agency obviously continues to request that any physical evidence that you find, parachutes or the money or whatever, please submit it.
Well, they found some money in the park where they think he fell out, where he jumped out.
Yeah.
Not only that, did you know?
We don't know if it's technically his money, though, but it is found cash. So everyone's like,
found a bundle of cash.
Could be his.
Did you also know that he grabbed the wrong parachute?
I didn't see that when I was reading the
So there
details.
were 2 parachutes. One...
There's 4 parachutes on what I was reading.
Was it 4 parachutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 were
well,
emergency.
they said that 3 of the parachutes that were there were the ones that were, I guess, like... he grabbed the older parachute, which was a smaller one, and would have taken longer to deploy. And it wouldn't have caught the air. It wouldn't have... stopped him as quick. He would have fallen a lot further and a lot quicker.
I could see that.
Plus, he took the jump at night, and
true as was, dusk had already kind of passed.
Yeah,
it was getting late.
So it's like he would have jumped off and fallen into the woods into pitch blackness.
Yeah, what surprises me though is they never found his body.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why they made the movie D.B. Cooper versus Bigfoot.
Oh my God.
So you just watch that. And
that movie will explain all of your questions for sure.
Please
it's
check
not a
it
B
out.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
my all-time favorite movie of all time.
I need to see that again. I don't remember it very well.
If you love a lot of men in short shorts without their shirts on,
bad
running
CGI,
around, and bad CGI.
Yeah.
What's it? I don't even think there was CGI.
They had a little bit, I think, in the beginning. It was really bad though.
What was it? What they?
It was like this horrible plane that's just like coming at the camera.
Oh, that's right.
And it was horrible CGI. It was really
it was
bad.
Terrible. And you don't even, it's not even about DB Cooper or Bigfoot until the last 5 minutes to where they're like, oh my gosh, look at that turkey. Oh, it's Bigfoot. And then DB Cooper's like, I'll put a stop to him. Cacao. DB Cooper saved you.
Oh, what a stupid
Go
movie.
back to your shirtless Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, so poor guy. That's pretty wild though. He steals in our current day over $1 million buckaroos successfully. Well,
Supposedly.
Supposedly. But
Supposedly.
yeah. So do you want me to tell you the day of the hijacking? I'll give you that actual info.
I thought you said it was the day before Thanksgiving.
I'm talking. Yes, the hijacking took place the day before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So let me give you the 411 on. What's it called? And when you're like, give me the blah, 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 blah. It's 411, right?
No.
Give me the 411 on Blink, right? That's what people say.
Is it?
I'm going to give you the 411 on the day of this hijacking.
Or are you making fun of me?
No, I'm not. I'm blanking out. Also, DB Cooper, I'm just going to say this. He looks like a little bit like my dad when my dad was in his 30s, which is weird to me.
Well, don't they just have that crudely drawn picture of him?
Yes, but there were multiple accounts because he was on a plane with like 30 plus people. And so
But
they
I
all
heard
knew what
they
he
were
looked
all
like.
drunk on cocktails.
No.
This was the age of cocktails.
Oh, that's
And
true.
it was legal to
he
be
was
drunk.
smoking a cigarette on the plane, and he was drinking whiskey.
Whiskey.
So,
Dude, I miss smoking on planes.
I don't, man. I don't want to be on a plane with people smoking next to me.
Hell yeah. That way I forget it. I'm like, I just have to breathe.
This air quality is not good.
Just roll down a window.
That'd be awesome. They had little crank windows on airplanes. It's stuffy in here. We need to open.
Just sucks the kid out the window.
Billy! All right, so DB Cooper purchased a one-way ticket. Also, this isn't his real name. That's just his alias. No one really knows his name. He purchased a one-way ticket for a 30-minute flight from Seattle to Portland. Shortly after takeoff, he handed a little note that was handwritten in all caps, which is scary. Whenever you write something in all caps, like on Facebook or whatever,
It's very
you already know
triggering.
it's going to be something intense, very intense feeling.
Very triggering to me.
Mm-hmm. Or whenever your like crazy uncle or something is typing out a very angry note about the election or whatever, you know it's not going to be good. It's going to get angry reactions.
Did you get an angry letter from your uncle typed out in all caps?
No, he's not on Facebook. But so shortly after takeoff, he handed her the note, right? And he said that he had a bomb in his briefcase. So the flight attendant's already on edge, you know, probably working a late shift.
Probably
Kind of
tired
on
of
edge.
guys like pinching at her.
She even said that. She was like, oh, another lonely guy trying to get my number.
There you go.
Could you imagine that thinking like at the time, like, oh, here we go again. And you're like,
Oh my God.
I got a bomb on this plane. That'd be horrible.
It's in my pants.
No. No. So, yeah. So she was like, you got a bomb, then prove it. So he like showed her the briefcase and did the quick, like 1, 2, like you just show it really quick and close it. So it looked, you know, it looked legit
Did
enough.
she really ask to prove it?
Yeah. She was like, let me see the bomb.
Dude, she's got a brass pair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would have just been like, all right, bro. But then again, I'm living in a post 9/11 world.
She could have been true. She could have been one of those. What do you call them?
Oh,
Cops.
really, hon? Why don't you whip it out and show me that bomb?
What's it called? Oh, an air marshal. She should have like right after this be like applied to be an air marshal. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Because they have guns. And she seemed like she handled this pretty well. Well, let's just continue.
I don't know if that would handling it well constitutes like really show it to me. Leans over to the guy next to him. This guy says he has a bomb.
Oh man, these classic. I have nothing to say.
Stewardess.
No, that's you can't say that anymore.
Really?
This is 2018. Okay, we don't say stewardess. It's flight attendant.
Oh.
Hello.
Well,
So he
that's
showed her
why
the
you're
goods.
here.
He showed her his bomb. And then he told her his demands. So it's like, I want $200,000. I want 4 parachutes, and I want a fuel truck at the airport waiting for when we land. And she's like, oh my God. Okay.
He let everyone off the plane, didn't he?
Yeah, so yeah, she told the pilot, who told air traffic control, who told the feds. You know, it's just like boom, 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 boom. This is like classic movie. You know, you have like everyone's going from phone call to phone call, quick cuts. Everyone's sweating in every shot.
I would like to see what's his name? The guy from Toy Story.
Woody?
Not Tim Allen, but the other guy. Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks was Woody,
as DB
yeah.
Cooper.
He
What
looks like
happens-
DB Cooper, actually.
He does.
But Tom Hanks is too old for the role because DB Cooper was like in his 40s, allegedly.
Well, I mean,
So people said he looked like he was in his 40s.
They can digitally remaster him with the computers.
Oh, yeah, like what they do with Tom Cruise.
Exactly.
He has it in his contracts.
Sorry, CJ.
CJ. Oh, poor guy.
He loves Tom Cruise.
Why are we talking? So he gave him the demands, right? So yeah, she told all them, they told the feds, but they told the passengers that there was just a little minor mechanical difficulty, which is, I feel like I've been on planes where they say that. I sometimes wonder now, like, what was really going on. We're having a little problem, turbulence. We can't land, and the pilots are just freaking out. Oh my God, we're not gonna make it.
It's just completely gone. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a little bit of turbulence coming up, so just please be calm. Oh, Jesus Christ! Call my wife. Get her on the phone.
Yeah, so that's smart though, because you don't want the people on the plane freaking out. You know, trying to jump out. That's never good.
Well, why would they jump out? What? I don't know.
They're not gonna, I'm just saying, you don't want to have an agitated. When a bomb's on the plane, allegedly.
You already
I don't think
had
this
the
is a real bomb,
freaking
but-
what are they called now? Flight attendant going up to him like, really? Show it.
Well, this is probably the first time. I mean, this is before the era of like what we have to go through now with. I mean, this was one of the first things
This
that started
is when
increasing
you could literally
security.
walk from your car to the plane without being checked.
Oh yeah, that is so crazy to me that was a real time in air travel. You could just do that. That's so crazy to me.
I miss those times.
So let's see, where are we here? They didn't tell the passengers what was going on, obviously, and then they just flew in circles for like 2 hours until the FBI got the money and the parachutes and the money and the fuel and all that stuff.
They just flew in circles?
Yeah, they circled around. I've done it on planes when there's a delay. You just go in a circle for like an hour. So they flew around.
I just picture DB Cooper looking out the window. Hey, what's going on over here? You guys stalling or what? I don't know how he would talk.
There's like F-15s just flying up. Like, this doesn't seem right. So yeah, they circled, had a good time. He drank his scotch. And then the funny thing too is the flight attendant described him as really calm and polite and well-spoken the whole time. Like, he wasn't rude or nervous or anything, which is surprising. This guy seems like he was an expert.
They say there are a few serial killers that have that effect on people.
Okay. You kind of have that effect. I wonder why.
I don't know.
I wonder if there's any,
Skeletons in my closet?
yeah.
You'll have to come over and find out.
Okay. Let me just now go look in my closet and go boom.
Psych! All right, moving on.
Moving on. Let's see. Yeah, she thought he was nice. That's funny to just call him nice.
Well groomed.
The man who hijacked our plane, he was so nice. So yeah, they landed at the airport. They released all the passengers except for him and the pilots, right?
Yeah.
And then they refueled, and he was like hiding from sniper fire. He didn't want to get sniped. He asked him to land the plane in a specific angle and stuff so that he couldn't get shot, which is smart.
Really?
Because they probably had a couple snipers that were like, all right, if we got a shot, we're taking it, kind of thing.
That's insane that he had. That's weird that he had all this planned out.
Dude, if you're gonna do a heist like this, you are gonna plan all that out. You're not gonna half-ass this.
I don't know. Well, yeah, of course you need to. Well, now we know that you need to think about all this. But seriously, at the time, are you? It makes me wonder if he was someone in the government, if he was a police officer, or if he knew of these situations. Like, all right, this is what they're gonna try to do.
Yeah, I feel like he was probably ex-military or something. This guy knew a lot of like the area. He knew a lot about flying and all this stuff. He knew about how to land in a parachute, all that stuff.
He knew how to be calm under pressure, obviously.
True. That's very true.
Or he was just drunk.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's probably the whiskey doing the trick there.
What if he was actually just like selling paperweights door to door?
He's like,
and he just got too drunk on the plane. Like, I could easily ask for money.
That would be actually better to me if this was the most half-assed heist ever, and he just thought of it while he was on the plane. He's like,
just winging it.
I could just use this suitcase and say it's a bomb. That'd be so cool.
Just needed some of that liquid courage.
Liquid courage doing the trick. The trick. So, yeah, they released all the people off the plane, the passengers as they are called, and
Thank
then
God
they
those
took
planes
off.
got away.
They took off. He said, see that star? Head straight towards the star until morning.
Did you just do a Peter Pan reference?
Yeah, no. Well, he actually said he was like, fly to New Mexico. Or no, he said Mexico City. And so while they were in the air, he was like, all right, guys, just go in the cockpit. I gotta use the bathroom really quick.
Is that when he
didn't
on
actually
a
say the
sticky
bathroom.
sheet of paper?
He's like, I don't want you to see. I don't want you to hear me in the bathroom. No,
I
he
got
told
some
him-
really bad digestive problems, and I'm really self-conscious.
Do not go in there.
Anybody got any matches or anything?
So he told them all to go in the cockpit, and while they were in there, they're like, man, the pressure in the plane just went down. And they're like, oh my God, he jumped out. He jumped out the back.
Because he asked for parachutes, right?
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Normally, these planes don't normally have parachutes.
No, they wouldn't.
I've checked passenger planes, and they don't have parachutes, because I've thought, maybe if I want to get out of here, get some fresh air.
That would be wild if if they had some sort of like, if commercial planes did have like under each seat was a parachute just in case. Like the wildest.
Go,
like,
go, go,
go! Get out of the plane!
No. They would be like, everyone in a calm and orderly fashion stand up and follow the lights towards the exit. And calmly step out as the stewardess, flight attendant slaps you on the back saying, go, go, go.
Mm-hmm. That'd be so wild.
Go. Thank you for flying Southwest. Go.
I could see that being, what's that one airline that sucks?
JetBlue?
Not JetBlue. It's the...
Southwest.
No.
Which one?
Forget Frontier. Isn't that one the cheapest, worst plane ever?
There's Frontier
Airlines is like garbage, right? I could see them being the people that like, they don't have like a plan B. They just have like makeshift parachutes under all like just bed sheets that you have to hold on to the four corners of.
Bed sheets and popsicle sticks.
That's your only chance of survival. Like, you're on your own. We open up the hatches. Good luck.
My parachute is a trash bag.
Oh, dude, that'd be
what
awful.
airline? There's a
They
new
just have Mary
airline,
Poppins,
and it's just
like umbrellas.
mine's an umbrella.
Yeah, so that's kind of the day of that happened, and then I like this little kid. There was a young kid who found like that cache of ransom bills.
Yeah.
When he was like out exploring one day by the Columbia River in like 1980, and so that triggered like a big renewed interest. Like 9 years after he escaped, but it just deepened the mystery. No one found out anything else about him. But also, why did the kid report the money? Just keep the money to yourself, you little kid.
Maybe he was a Boy Scout.
He probably was a Boy Scout. But if I found, like, that would blow my mind if I, like, was just out walking around and just found all this money.
This was the 80s, man. Kids were a lot more honest.
That's true.
Nowadays, the only way you find money as a kid is, like, looking into your phone playing Candy Crush.
Okay. Also...
That's so stupid.
Also, you don't want to be the guy that finds money like in No Country for Old Men. You find money and then you're hunted down.
Well, you don't
want that happening to you.
You heard about the guy who bought a storage unit for next to nothing, and there was like $7 million in there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes. Look it up.
Oh, I'll have to...
He found $7 million and he reported it, and the government took it away except for $60,000. They said you can have $60,000.
That's like, what the heck, dude? Like, they don't have any... They couldn't give him more than 60,000? That's insane.
Are you kidding me? The government going to give him more money? It's like, oh, you found it? Well, there's a finder's fee.
That's so lame. 60,000?
60,000. Hey, it's
That's
better
not
than
enough,
nothing.
dude. No, I'd be really upset. I would have
course.
regretted. I
I wouldn't
bet
have
he
said-
immediately regretted reporting that.
Of course. It's like, that's what I get for being a good Samaritan.
Yeah.
Now I'm just throwing money at the government.
Poor guy.
He could have been living La Vida Loca.
That's so true. I think the final...
Countdown?
what do you call it? The final nail in the coffin of this story. There's this guy named Carl Lauren. He's like this 80-year-old man.
Yeah.
And he wrote a book saying that he was like best friends with D.B. Cooper. And he was on, I saw there's footage on YouTube if you go and look up his video. He's like being interviewed on Fox Business. He's an insane old man. He thinks D.B. Cooper was his best friend. And he wrote this book, I think, as a last hope to have any sort of legacy before he died. But he's like, oh, he was a spy and he just wanted to help his family out. My buddy taught him how to jump out an airplane. You're like, dude, I don't. And the guy interviewing him is just like, yeah, dude, sure, we're gonna buy your book. Sounds good, man. He's just like mocking
How much
him
is it again?
on the
$35.
Yeah. So that guy, I like old men who are frauds. It's kind of cool.
I mean, that's kind of what I want to be.
He just
when I
doesn't care
grow up.
anymore. He's like, yeah, I was best friends with D.B. Cooper.
I'm just gonna lie my ass off when I get old.
That's basically what that guy was doing.
Chalk it up to old timers.
Yeah.
Old-timers. As a child, I thought it was old-timers.
It sounds like old timers.
That's what I thought as a kid.
Yeah. Or just a couple old timers. You think about it.
Not really. You're younger than I am.
Am I?
Yeah.
It's debatable.
Significantly. Well, if I shave my beard off, I lose like 10 years. And you see my like 4 chins.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks guys for
We're going to end on that note? Come on. Don't end on my chins.
I'm sorry, man. I had to do it to him. I had to do it.
All right, whatever. Let's get out of here. I'm going to go get some more Chick-fil-A.
Big shout out to Mikey T across from me.
Stop.
So long, everybody.
You're not Eminem.
Adios.
Bye, everyone.
And have a good night. Bye.
Have a good weekend.